Hey everybody, I'm forewarned meteorologist Paul Hagen here in the Weather Center, and the last of the flakes and sleet pellets and freezing raindrops aren't even done falling across the mid-state on this Wednesday morning as I'm recording this, and it's already time to look ahead to the next potential round of wintry weather that's headed our way Thursday night, Friday, and into Friday night. So we're not going to have a whole lot of time to recover from the icy situation that developed across the mid-state with those snow amounts farther to the north of Nashville as well. Let's take a look at the overview of what you need to know even this far in advance, and we're still talking a couple days away, so like I said with the last system, there are going to be changes to the forecast. There always are. So here's what to expect Thursday night and Friday, and really even into Friday night and early Saturday. Expecting cold rain to move in Thursday afternoon and evening. Could see some freezing rain in that time frame to the north of Interstate 40. That's one of the big question marks with this system that I'll get into more detail about here momentarily. Moderate to heavy rainfall Thursday night and early Friday. Maybe some localized flooding problems because the ground is so cold and because that cold ground isn't going to be able to absorb as much moisture because it's frozen. Change over to a rain-snow mix to all snow. Looks like it's going to happen by midday on Friday. Also, one of the questions we're going to have to answer exactly when does that happen. Accumulations still, and count the varies, there's 6 of them. Very uncertain at this point, so we're going to keep you posted on that. We'll take an early guess at it here. We'll look at some model data. I'm not going to give you our kind of smoothed out version of the different versions between the models until tomorrow, but we're going to look ahead some of the possibilities, beginning with our in-house RPM models version of what's going to happen. This one already spread some rain into southern middle Tennessee by midday on Thursday with some snow along and north of Interstate 40. Not quite buying into this scenario just yet, but it's a possibility. So is it likely? No. Is it impossible? Also no. That would give way to scattered showers in the afternoon. These are going to be cold rain showers because high temperatures are only going to be around 40 degrees on Thursday. We're going to stay warm enough Thursday night into early Friday morning that it should fall mostly in the form of liquid precipitation. But you see that pink shaded area. Well, we saw too much of that this morning, and we do have more of it showing up on, again, one particular computer model Thursday night, especially farther north of Interstate 40. That would be freezing rain, maybe a little bit of sleet, with rain falling into cold air near ground level. Friday morning, that pink area, instead of being freezing rain, is going to be more of a rain-snow mix. As cold air catches up on the backside of the system, this would be a faster transition from rain to snow, and we would have that moderate to even heavy snow, basically from Nashville to the west and north by Friday morning. We'll zoom out a little bit wider here, show you how that progresses, and again, this particular computer model is pushing the heaviest snow farther off to the east by mid-afternoon on Friday, and off the Cumberland Plateau entirely, except for a few lingering flurries, by midnight on Friday night. Should be pretty much gone by Saturday morning. It's one version of one computer model. The North American model, which is one of the ones that performed a little bit better with this system that is in the process of wrapping up right now, paints a slightly different scenario, and this one is either less concerning in terms of freezing rain or more concerning in terms of more snow on Friday. So it produces a chance of some showers Thursday afternoon, but it's much less impressed with our rain chances during the day Friday, but it brings that heavier rain in Thursday evening and Thursday night. So that's the way I've shaded the forecast. Pushes that freezing rain line a little bit farther to the north, looking like a more likely scenario, just given some of the other information I'm looking at, which I will show you in just a moment. And then as we zoom in and take a closer look at what is going to happen in Friday morning's time frame, there is that moderate to heavy rain continuing with a changeover on the way in southern Kentucky. And that changeover is going to continue working its way farther and farther to the south as we head through Friday morning. So it's a later transition from rain to snow, but that means the snow is going to last a little bit longer. This is the same storm system that's going to be getting national headlines for what it's going to do to the East Coast. We're more concerned about the local headlines, frankly, because we're looking at the potential for accumulating snow across the mid-state. Now, you see a lot of snow, and it finally starts to wind down as we head towards Saturday morning. Keep in mind, any potential accumulations are going to be attenuated by any rain-snow mix, as we saw today. Anything that's not snow really cuts into the potential snow accumulation, and that snow is going to be falling onto wet ground, and temperatures initially will be above freezing. So all those factors do help to limit how much snow is going to add up on the ground. But just for fun, let's take a look at the European snow model forecast, and it has today's snow mixed in with this, but still, we're talking about a lot of snow that falls. This is for entertainment purposes only because it is doubtful that this specific scenario is going to unfold with, again, looking at 8 to 10 inches of snow in that little bullseye. Look at the right-hand side of the screen, though. Look at all that snow in West Virginia and Virginia. That's what they are all worked up about around Washington, D.C. and the northeastern U.S. So around here, I'm willing to say at this point that at least some snow is looking likely on Friday. Freezing rain issue for Thursday night's going to be the immediate concern, though, because that can really make a mess if we get a layer of ice on the roads before any snow accumulates on top of it, which is obviously what we saw around much of Metro Nashville today. Here's the Storm Prediction Center's short-range ensemble forecast. I've mentioned this in the past couple videos. This is like the super blend of all of a bunch of different models, dozens of them literally, and putting all that information together and trying to come up with a consensus, kind of a middle ground solution. What's the most likely scenario, statistically speaking? And again, meteorology is a study of statistics, of probabilities, not of certainties. But it points to areas that are just outside of the Channel 4 viewing area for that greatest possibility of freezing rain as we head into Thursday night and early Friday. In terms of the greatest potential of accumulating snow, we're looking here at the 700 millibar heights, and if you are not a weather nerd, you have no idea what I'm talking about. This is a pressure map for the layer of the atmosphere that's pretty far above ground level. We measure in pressure surfaces rather than height above the ground because it gives us a more consistent picture of what the atmosphere is doing. One of the rules in meteorology is look for the 700 millibar area of low pressure, and just to the north and northwest of that is where the heaviest snow accumulations are going to occur. Well, that 700 millibar area of low pressure looks like it's going to go directly over the midstate, which would keep Middle Tennessee just outside of the heaviest snow accumulation, but would put that heavier accumulation in maybe northwestern Middle Tennessee, but certainly up into southern Kentucky and West Tennessee, and that's what this Storm Prediction Center short-range ensemble forecast is pointing at. But it still produces a couple inches of accumulation around Nashville, up to 3 as you head up into northwestern Middle Tennessee, and 4 in the northwestern fringe of the midstate. We're going to have to keep a close eye on this because we're still a couple days away, and there's going to be some wiggle room in this forecast. Some of the other computer model forecasts, that North American model I showed you a little bit earlier, here's what it's pointing in terms of just snow accumulation. 24-hour snowfall, it's adding it up, and you see those numbers enough to make any snow lover absolutely jump out of their chair and clap in delight or whatever their reaction is to stuff that really causes a big mess on the roads. This, though, is not the most likely scenario for what you're going to see on the ground. Different measure of that is snow depth. So this is the model estimating how much snow is actually going to be visible on the ground, and it maxes out. You can see a very sharp gradient, again, because it's a winter storm and it's Middle Tennessee, a very sharp gradient between nothing and quite a bit on the ground, up to 6 inches being indicated in some of these spots here in southern Kentucky. Again, you can't go county by county on this far in advance, but it gives us an idea of the pattern of what to expect. And 3 to 5 inches, certainly a possibility at this point, somewhere in the mid-state with the better odds the farther north and west you go from Nashville itself. So all this is really just speculative at this point. We're going to have a lot of information to deal with over the next couple of days. That's why I'm not giving you a forewarned version, our own version of the snowfall forecast yet at this point, because it's going to have to be rearranged too much. There's going to be a lot of information that comes in that forces us to reevaluate, readjust things a little bit, but definitely has our attention. That's why we've already classified it as a forewarned alert day, meaning you should plan on staying plugged into the forecast. We'll have updates on social media, on the air, online. You know the usual drill at this point, but just be aware that travel is going to be very tricky around the midstate on Friday and into Friday evening and Friday night, the way things look right now. But on the panicometer, again, we're just going to set it to allow extra time. There is hardly any situation that's going to develop around the area that really makes you rush to the store, or should make you rush to the store to buy out all perishable food items. It's not necessary, because whatever snow we get should melt over the weekend, and there's never any cause for panic, because that doesn't adjust the situation at all. It doesn't do anything to help. So just plan on staying plugged into the forecast, and we will keep you posted.